3rd and 10 from the gun. Barkley hit as he throws. It's up in the air, and it's intercepted. Jamie Collins has got it. And the New England defense comes up big.
That was the game-sealing interception is called by Ian Eagle. Now, let's play Ian Eagle's great read of a promo for Young Sheldon, followed by an all-new episode of the new hit comedy #1 called The Unicorn. Oh, we don't have that. We don't have that. Okay, I'm sorry. Here's Ian Eagle back on the Rich Eisen Show. How are you, Ian?
Coming up on CBS, Bob loves Abishola.
You know what, Ian, I hate to call you out. It's Bob Hart's Abishola.
Hold on, take 2.
Yes, go for it.
Coming up on CBS, Bob Hart's Abishola. I just read what's on the card, Rich. I don't know what's really going on.
How are you, Ian? By the way, Ian, is that your doorbell? Like when they ring your doorbell, like that's the sound, that's the music they get right there. Like, oh, there's somebody at the there's another package being delivered.
Oh my God, that's a tremendous idea. It's not, but it's going to be my doorbell from now on. That's outstanding.
Oh man, how are you, Ian Eagle? How you doing? You good?
I'm good.
Life's good?
I'm good, yeah. I've been running around a little bit. Nice to be in Orchard Park and blend in with the pregame festivities, get a real feel for what it's like out there. It's religious. It's a religious experience.
Speaking of which, there was a wedding at halftime between two Bills fans that met at the game years ago, Ian. Did you watch that, or were you just getting ready?
No, I did. I watched it. It felt like one of those old Mooney weddings that you and I experienced when we were growing up. Yeah, it was. No, it was beautiful. It was a really, really nice thing that the Bills did. Kyle Williams officiated.
That's
Jim
right.
Kelly walked the bride down the aisle.
It actually happened.
Had former Bills in attendance. And, here's the thing about Buffalo, which to me is a great thing. It's not the norm anymore in the NFL. Mm-hmm. Normally at halftime around the league, people just go elsewhere. They spill into a luxury suite or a VIP area. They're going to have drinks. They're going to have food. They're going into the concourse. In Buffalo, they stay. They stay in the seats. So this was a legitimate 70,000 people watching this wedding. It was incredible.
Well, I mean, and the fans there almost got their wish and the bride and groom, I'm sure they would rather be registered for a win than anything else. I mean, they almost got it, Ian. I mean, you know how we are in the media about a blueprint. Did a team show a blueprint? Did the Bills actually show one on what could be done for the rest of the AFC with New England, do you think here?
Well, I think what they've shown is a lot of progress. There's no doubt that what's happened in Buffalo has been an alignment of ownership, front office, and head coach / coaching staff. They're all three on the same page, and there has been a culture change. You can feel it when you talk to the players, when you walk around that facility. It's a different vibe than it had been in previous years. So give a lot of credit to Sean McDermott and to the Pagulas. This, to me, is the start of something. Now, they didn't get the result they were looking for, but defensively, they're going to be able to compete with a lot of teams in the NFL. They gave Tom Brady fits. That was real. That wasn't just Brady having an off day. Mm-hmm. That was Buffalo dictating the tenor on defense. They've got a legitimate pass rush. Their secondary is very tough, and they've got playmaking linebackers. So, to me, the improvements are going to have to come on the other side of the ball, and it's going to fall on the development of Josh Allen. And whether you're an Allen believer or not, that was his 15th NFL start. How he was injured was a brutal hit, but it was also Allen putting himself in harm's way. I think he does try to do a little too much at times, and that's his instinct. And at some point, he's going to have to flip the switch on that and realize that it's okay. Don't force it downfield 3 times off your back foot on a long ball and get picked off by the New England defense. Don't go for that 1 extra yard and leave yourself open for a hit that knocks you out of the game. These are learning experiences for him.
Well, obviously Bills fans would say he didn't knock himself out of the game. It was a hit that would normally get somebody ejected if it was on Tom Brady. I mean, even Bills players were mentioning that about that hit. What was the first blush reaction? I guess you're in a commercial break with you and Fouts as you threw the break with Josh Allen on the ground there.
Yeah, it was a rough hit from Jonathan Jones. There's no doubt about it. The play basically had been made, and then Jones slid in as the secondary tackler. Look, I think Josh Allen certainly didn't put himself in the best of positions. He was also leaning forward with his helmet, and we understand that the onus is on the defensive player, but I think there is responsibility for the offensive players as well. When Allen tucks it and runs, which happens quite a bit, teams are going to be looking to make him pay. Not make him pay by getting a huge penalty or getting knocked, thrown out of the game as the defensive player, but part of the game is to change the game as a defender, and they changed the game. Matt Barkley had to come into the game and could not lead them back. If Josh Allen is still in the game, there's a chance Buffalo does come back and maybe create some late-game magic. So, yes, 100%, the hit was illegal. I don't think he's going to be suspended from the hit, but you can understand that there is a feeling that there are different rules for different people. But Tom Brady just wouldn't put himself in that spot. I've done so many Brady games through the years. He's so wise and savvy when it comes to those plays. He also understands longevity.
Clear. I mean, yeah, no doubt about that. And just on that point, before we move on a little bit here, Ian Eagle on the Rich Eisen Show, what is it like being in a pre-broadcast meeting with Dan Fouts and Tom Brady? Put me as a fly on that wall. Right.
Well, here's the thing. Dan was an anchor in San Francisco, a sports anchor,
right,
during a stretch of his career. While he was doing college football, he was also anchoring the local sports at KPIX.
That's
when
right.
Tom Brady was a senior in Northern California. Right. So Dan did a walk and talk interview, and we have the video. We've seen it. We've used it before, of Tom Brady at 18 years old. And they formed a bond, obviously, back then. If you're Brady and Stan Fouts, clearly at that stage of your life, you're just blown away that a Hall of Fame quarterback, the great Dan Fouts, is chatting with you and is interested in what you have to say. So now the years go by, and we've met with Brady so many times. And being in that production meeting, it's two guys that get along really well, and Tom is very comfortable. I think Tom is probably the best guy in the NFL, Rich, when it comes to production meetings. He just gets it. He understands. He does. He just understands what it's all about. He understands what we need, and he, I think, also understands how the dynamic works the other way. Good questions will bring good answers, and Tom is that type. He's really insightful in those sit-downs. So he and Dan definitely have a long-term bond that will carry on for many years.
All right, now do Belichick.
Bill understands that the meetings are part of the job.
Yes, of course.
He does understand that.
Yeah.
And here's the thing with Bill. In all seriousness,
yes.
if you get into certain subject matters, he can be delightful. Completely delightful. He'll talk about NFL history and give you things that you hadn't even thought about, angles and different things that have happened and his perspective on them. If you get into officiating, he is very strong because he knows that rule book backwards and forwards. If you get into the opponent, he can be very good. It's really when you get into his team that you're not going to get a whole lot.
Or
He's
himself.
Just not going to share. And
or himself.
I understand it.
Yeah.
Or himself. Right. If you start, other than how he related to people throughout his career, if you ask him about Lawrence Taylor, Carl Banks, if you ask him about
Bavaro,
guys that he coached under, Ted Marchibroda. Yes,
right.
He's got so many stories. It's amazing. He's an encyclopedia of football, as you experience. And I did ask him, by the way, about the NFL 100 stuff that he did with you when we met with him week 2.
Okay.
And his eyes lit up. He smiled ear to ear. That's how much he enjoyed. I'm not just telling you this because I'm on your show. I would tell you this if we ran into each other at an airport.
That's right.
He was he was tickled to talk about that, and he said it was a great experience. So I know everybody's looking forward to it.
There's no question. I've said it on this show, and I'll say it here, and I'll say it to you in an airport when that's probably where I will see you next. It was a top 5 career highlight for me doing that show with Collinsworth and him. He is dynamite. If he does want to do broadcasting, he does have the chops for that. He really does. You know,
there's no doubt. He is scary, smart, and bright, and brings a unique perspective. Look, I've done these meetings for 22 years. You get some coaches that want to chat, and it's just a little BS session back and forth. You get other coaches that play it close to the vest. It's your job to figure out what of that information, as you disseminate it, is usable and worthy of a broadcast. To just say you spoke to someone isn't enough. There's got to be something of value that can either move a story ahead or at least bring a different angle to it. And you pick and choose your spots. Bill understands the whole setup. He chooses not to use it as a way to grandstand or to get points across. He just goes out, coaches his team, and look, if you ask good questions, there are times where he can give you something that could be worthwhile.
Ian Eagle here on the Rich Eisen Show, and reason why an airport is a place that you're likely to be seen, certainly during the football season, is this wasn't your first game of the week involving a future first ballot Hall of Famer who wears number 12. You did the Westwood One radio call of the Eagles shocking Aaron Rodgers. What do you think we learned about the Eagles from that game, Ian Eagle, moving forward here?
Yeah, no relation, by the way, Rich. Maybe like fourth cousin on my father's side, maybe, but I'd have to check a family tree. What I think we learned is that there probably was an overreaction after the first few weeks. The Eagles were a few plays away from being 3-0, and I know there are a lot of teams that can say that, but they truly were. Carson Wentz and company, maybe there's now an understanding of, look, they've got to run the football and be effective in that part of their offense. And the fact that they established Jordan Howard, that Miles Sanders has really shown a knack. They're better in that part of their game than was exhibited in the first 3 weeks. Once they get Deshaun Jackson back, that changes the dynamic through the air. Alshon Jeffrey gave them a huge lift. And then defensively, they did just enough. We could question the play calling at the end of the game for Green Bay, and you would be legit in questioning it because if you don't have trust that you can punch it in from the one, you might have some deeper issues. That's a different story for the Packers. The injury to Jamal Williams certainly didn't help. But I think Philadelphia is in better shape than if you and I had this conversation 1 week ago. The perception around the league was that they were in big trouble. They're not.
And so when it all comes down to it, Ian, you're going to see Ravens and Steelers next week. You'll be watching, obviously, the Monday night game. They'll prepare for that. Best team you've seen through the first 4 weeks would be?
Would still be Kansas City. To me, their offense is still beyond what anybody else has. Defensively, it's coming along. It's going to take some time. I think that's why you would say that instinctually New England will be there when it counts, of course. But there's a reason why New England was getting in the Antonio Brown business. I think they realize that they're down a major playmaker. There's something missing from this offense that would make them the team to beat, no questions asked. That's not to say that they're not going to be there when the smoke clears. I'm sure they will because it's who they are and they figure it out. They problem solve throughout the year. But yesterday was an example of that. They just didn't have that dynamic downfield target, and the chemistry that probably would have formed between Brady and Brown is what made it so enticing. Now, there are so many other things that came into play, and there are things we're not privy to that came into play, and there's a reason why he's not there anymore. But from a football standpoint, I believe that they felt that he would have been a missing piece for them. With that said, Kansas City would be the best team I've seen so far in person.
Ian Eagle, before I let you go, congratulations, folks here in Los Angeles that are very excited for their Clipper season, and you could make the argument the most exciting Clipper season ever is going to hear on the radio the voice of Noah Eagle, hired at age 22 to be the radio voice of the Los Angeles Clippers. Now, that is a direct relation, correct? Ian Eagle?
Well, we're still checking. That's
It's your son,
debatable.
Ian. Breaking news. It's your son. Congratulations.
Well, yeah, I mean, there was rumors of a Poland Spring delivery man in '96 when I was away.
Coming to you straight from Maine, huh? I didn't know that.
Love it.
Rich,
Okay.
thank you. It is.
You're
it's
welcome.
Incredible. He is beyond excited. He's going to be living with you for 6 months, which I don't even know if you were aware of. But
My wife and I have done this before. We're good people. Seriously, if your son needs a place to hang, a meal, or whatever, I'm sure he'll be doing fine. He'll be on the road just like you quite a bit, but
Yeah, but it's awesome, and what the Clippers have done during the offseason, to me, they are the deepest team in the NBA. They've got the horses to make serious noise and maybe even bring a championship to LA. I know the way things are set up in Los Angeles are very similar to how they're set up here in the New York area between the Knicks and the Nets. So battling for credibility and relevance is always something that comes into play. The Clippers have done that. The Nets have done that as well. So it's this bi-coastal Eagle thing that we got going.
Yeah,
it's really going to be fun.
For teams eager to change the script on the teams that supposedly rule the basketball roost in town, and those Nets-Clippers games, I'm sure, will be a terrific moment for you, Ian. So I'm thrilled. Congratulations on that, brother.
Yeah, thank you, Rich.
You got
really
it.
Appreciate
and
it.
then I'm also pleased to say this is my new ringtone for when you call. There you go. There it is. There it is.
It is iconic. Isn't that amazing when this music came out and you'd never heard it?
Yeah.
And you think, I don't know, really? And now, all these years later, like, no, that's football. That feels like Sunday football.
Well, it also feels like Bob Hart's Abishola to me, Ian, but that's just me. That's also, it works.
I'm going to work on that. I'm going to work on that.
By the way, the neighborhood's on before Bob Hart's Abishola. Those are all new, coming up on CBS. I believe tonight, as a matter of fact. Ian, thanks for the call, man.
All right, Rich, thank you. Thanks to Cedric the Entertainer. Thanks to everybody.
You got it. That's Ian Eagle, everybody.
For more of The Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live or download the Rich Eisen Show app.